Let's talk about his business, her business, and not your business. When you understand the concept of the three businesses, this will revolutionize how you think about your marriage, raising kids, other relationships, your business, and your health. My name is Alexis Kiwi, and I work with couples who are entrepreneurs and want to work together, but they're struggling to connect and communicate. I teach them how to overcome this so that they can build together a life and a business that they love. So, a huge part of doing that is understanding what you control and what you don't, and learning to really focus on those controllables and focus on how you show up so that you can create an environment of safety, of connection, and of communication within your marriage and within your business. So, the first business we have is our business, right? This is what we control. It's what we think, do, feel, and create. These are what we're responsible for. We personally hold the responsibility for controlling the thoughts that go through our head, the feelings that are created from those thoughts, the actions that come from those feelings, and the environment that we create on a basis of those actions. What others create or control, I'm sorry, in their own business is what they think, what they do, what they feel, and what they create. So before we go any farther, I want you to acknowledge something here and say this out loud. I am not responsible for how other people feel. Did you say it? Go ahead and say it again and say it a little more strongly this time. I am not responsible for how other people feel. That's their business. But where we can take ownership is of the environment that we create. I cannot force my husband to feel loved and respected through my actions, but I can create an environment where he feels seen, where he feels heard, where he feels appreciated. I'm sorry, where he can feel seen, he can feel heard, he can feel appreciated, and I can regularly affirm him in who he is and for the strengths that he possesses. Whether or not he chooses to acknowledge that or to feel that way is not my business. It's my job to show up as my best self. Now, within his scope of responsibility is what he thinks, what he does, what he feels, and what he creates, and the environment that he creates in our marriage and in our business. I have no control over that. But what I do have is influence. And the more strongly I show up as my best self, the more it influences him to show up as his best self. Now, the third business is everything else, and that's God's business. That's think natural disasters, weather, things we have no control over. But also, this applies to the timing of how the results come about in our business and in our efforts. That is not something that is within our control. So, what we focus on in our marriage, in our relationships, and in our business is those controllables that fall under our business and the influence over our significant other's business, and of course, the business of those that we interact with. So, take ownership right now for how you show up. Take ownership for being your best self and making the switch when you get out of your best self, getting back into the best version of you. When in our coaching, we use the Gallup Strengths Assessment to help people understand that how to apply these three businesses. Every strength has a good, a bad, and an ugly, and they directly correlate to the business that you're in. The way that you show up best in your strengths is when you understand that you get to take ownership of how you think, what you feel, what you do, and what you create in every aspect of your life. So, using those strengths to create an environment where your significant other feels safe to communicate with you, where they feel safe to bring new ideas to the table, where you can create connection and you can create communication. That is focusing on your business. Our strengths get bad when we are too focused on others' business and trying to control what they're doing, right? Are you trying to get them to operate in your strengths? Are you trying to get them to fulfill the desires that you have? Or are you helping them in what they want and helping them accomplish what they want? A lot of times we get what we want by helping others get what they want, right? When we show love and affection to someone who wants love and affection, we can get love and affection in response. But a lot of times we have to take that first step of ownership. Now, where our strengths go ugly is when we take them out of our business or even others' business and we start getting into God's business. When we start worrying about things that we have absolutely no control or necessarily even influence over. And so we make that shift to go back into that best version of ourselves by acknowledging, I got to get back in my business. So focus this week. Really pay attention to where your energy is placed. Because if you're somebody who says, I don't have any free time, or I'm so tired all the time because I have too much to do, when you go into something, ask yourself, am I in my business right now? Or am I trying to control factors that are not my own? Look at that big old plate and all that you have on it and find out what really is your business, what you control, and give that your full attention and your best energy. If you're taking on things that are not your responsibility, push those to the side and let them belong to the person whose business they are. Focus instead on what you think, you do, feel, and create. And click the link below because you can do this. This is fully within your control. And join my weekly email list to get a lot more great value like this, education on how to build a business and a life you truly love with your partner.